I'm Deborah Swets. Look at you.
Yes.
I'm Deborah Swets. I'm the Vice President of Membership for the Washington State Hospital Association.
And you organize this meeting, right?
I have lead responsibility for organizing the meeting, particularly the content development of the meeting.
And what do you think about when you work on the content? What's your goal there?
So I have a personal passion about convening people for meaningful experiences, and this is the essence of the opportunity to convene our most senior leaders from across the state, from health systems and hospitals, and board members. And so what we're looking for, we feature 4 plenary speakers. We're looking for people that speak to the edge of their issue, their expertise area, that are going to get people kind of stimulated, maybe even a little uncomfortable, but not depressed. Often people at the leading edge of what they're doing in healthcare, it can feel overwhelming how you will adapt it if they're giving advice for your organization. We're not looking for that. We're looking for get stimulated, hear some things maybe you haven't heard, maybe not synthesized in that same way, and then feel like you have enough suggestions that you could take a next step anyway. And then we want a balance of the 4 speakers that we're talking on different issue areas that would link to our strategic plan for the annual meeting. For the association for the full year.
So give us some examples of some of those things that we're looking at this year.
So this year, our lineup includes the whole digital world. How could that be maximized in your organization, your healthcare organization? Either how you directly serve patients, how you let patients access their information, how you might maximize the research and the resources that are out in the country and make those available to your patients. We had Dr. Wendy Sue Swanson from Seattle Children's. She gave the example of when people, in their case children, are facing a transplant of a solid organ, their heart, their liver, their lungs. There is 6 hours of teaching that is required, has been required, on how to deal with the medications that those parents are going to need to provide to that child after a transplant. Dr. Swanson talked about how they came up with a system, very simple, taking a PowerPoint presentation that's narrated to cut down from 6 hours to 1 hour what was needed for the parents of the child to learn what to do. Now, it took them a little longer, but it didn't take 6 hours on the part of the care providers. And the parents preferred that method. They could return to the instruction again. They could share it with grandparents and with babysitters and others. That medication regimen is extremely important. And that was an example of using your digital resources. It was one of many that she provided, some of which I didn't even fully understand, but I was really charged up about it. And so that was one example. Another is a major area of focus for the Hospital Association, that's end-of-life care. We're ending our conference with this very enthusiastic, capable, committed fellow who's come from Wisconsin. He works with a hospice organization, but he also, with a colleague, has developed 2 documentaries that have been shown all over the country on PBS stations and at community meetings on how to help folks in your community, your patients, others in your population, do end-of-life planning in a sensitive and caring way and make that information available to the healthcare providers. So those would be 2 examples.
So what makes a successful conference to you?
Well, actually, what I'm really looking for is an experience that helps people laugh, cry, and think. Now, crying doesn't happen so much at our conferences, but actually we started off in our state. There have been a number of fires, and a lot of our hospitals were the salvation in their communities. So we wanted to acknowledge that, and one way we did it is we started our conference with the Seattle Firefighters Pipe and Drum Band. I have to tell you, these guys in their kilts showing up with their big boom boom, what do you call those things, drums, and the audience swelled up and stood up, hardly even knowing why we had invited this pipe and drum pad, bagpipes and drums. And those gentlemen who are firefighters walked up onto the stage and they played 3 numbers, one of which was a combination of our national anthems. And then they played Amazing Grace. I was in tears at the back of the audience, and I know some other people were too. We don't quite hit that mark every year, but truly, laugh, cry, and think. Have some humor, have some enthusiasm. Actually, there's one other thing we look for, that by the time our members leave, they feel re-inspired to go back and do the noble work that they do every day for the folks in their communities. That's how we want to end a meeting.
What do you want folks to know about WSHA?
WSHA? You know, it may be an odd thing to say, but I would like people to know the passion that our staff brings to serving our members. It is extraordinary, the breadth of services and issues and programs that our staff tackles and tries to stay on top of to serve our members. I think it comes through because some members tell me that it does. We are there for purposes of helping our members be successful in their missions of serving their communities. And we are true believers on the staff. We want our members to know that.